By the end of this video, you will be able to create a simple performance-based test. You will learn the difference between a scored lab versus a performance-based test, and how performance-based testing will accelerate your learner's ability to demonstrate a deeper understanding of the topic as a whole rather than checking as they go. When we look at ABA and PBT, we can identify two main elements that set the two apart. ABA is generally not scored and provides the learner with feedback and guidance throughout, where PBT looks to focus more on the scored part and offers no guidance. So why performance-based testing? Well, it is to ensure that all learners are actually learning and that they are learning the correct items regardless of their physical location. For example, the same metrics are applied whether you are tested in Europe or Asia. Those metrics are consistently checked, and that is where PBT really comes in handy. It focuses on whether the learner can do a particular skill rather than how they did that skill, and in today's world, this is essential. And finally, it can help to provide a platform for you to create your own certifications and reward system. And what this means is when your learner gets certified, it is completely your choice, such as are they offered a badge or access to a different software. Either way, performance-based testing can help you determine this and move forward with all types of real-world skill testing. Let's dive into action. We will begin with looking at an ABA lab environment and then turn it into an exam that utilizes performance-based testing. In this environment, it focuses on ABA, where the items are created to check the knowledge as the learner navigates through the labs. They are given guidance and instant results when completing a task. The first question is a simple multiple choice and asks how many icons are on the desktop. I can see one, but I'm just going to get it wrong to show how when I check it, it's going to give me an incorrect and allows me to retake it and tells me when I got it correct. The next part is to look at an activity-based where I am asked to create a text file on the desktop and save it and name it called test. So going to go ahead and create a text doc, call it test, save to the desktop, and now I'm going to hit check. What this is going to do is it's going to run a script to see if there was a text file created on the desktop and it was named test, which it did, and it returns my result of congratulations that I did it correct. When you are creating an ABA, you can design them to be individualized to a specific instance. And for example, in this particular instance, I'm asked to populate a number of files on the desktop. So I'm going to hit check. What's going to happen is it's going to populate a number of files onto the desktop. And once this is done, I'm now going to enter the number of documents I see on the desktop. I'm going to show you it added 4, but when I check to see if 4 is correct, it's going to return my answer as incorrect because there are actually 5 documents because of the one I created. But here, as you can see, it's told me I got it wrong and it gave me the answer. So this method is used when you want to see if a learner can complete a task with information that pertains specifically only to an instance. So on the back end, which we're going to delve into next, is a script that's going to run. And that script, when executed, will randomly assign a number from 1 to 10 and put that number of text files onto the desktop. What is key is when this is run again, it will populate more files. But here I don't have it reset, so I can't add any more files. And finally, it is important to relate this back to ABA when we said that this is not scored. So what actually happens here is when I complete my lab, I'm not going to get a result. I'm just going to end the environment. I've had knowledge checks along the way. However, as a lab developer, you will have the ability to see the results from the environment of the learner, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. Now looking on the back end, we want to check the results of the learner. So you, as a lab developer, will have access to see the FindLab instances. and you will go all the way to details of the instance. And here you'll be able to see how many questions were presented. The green box means they got it correct, and the red box shows that it was incorrect. We're now going to make this ABA to a PBT, and how we do that is head to the lab profile page and click Edit Instructions. You can see here we have on the left the IDLX markdown, and on the right you can see how it engages and looks on the lab environment. And up here we are going to hit the activities icon. And we can see straight away that this doesn't have enable scoring. So what we would do is enable scoring, and we're going to have show results upon completion and then showing the detail. The passing score, we're going to look at that in a moment, but let's go ahead down and look at our 4 main activities. So as we know, we have some of these, for example, populate files. This will remain a practice because click on here, we can see the automated activity is just to simply, as I explained, the script runs to add a number of files from 1 to 10 and pop them onto the desktop. So we don't need to make that one a scored. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the file exists because we need to add a score to this, and we're going to hit edit. On the edited automated activity, I'm going to go ahead and hit scored. Now I'm allowing it to be scored. I want to take off the on-demand evaluation, so I don't want the user to know whether or not they got it correct or incorrect on the first go. And I want the results to show in the report. Again, my script is written, it's going to target the only VM that I have. It's written in PowerShell. And this is going to check to see if there was a file that was placed on the desktop named test. And I'm going to give it a score value. So the score value, you can change it to whatever you desire that activity requires. So I'm going to say if the user gets this right, they're going to get 10 points, and I'm going to hit save. As you can see, when we talked about the passing score, 10 is currently the highest because we only have one activity. So I need to remove that number because I'm not quite sure what I want my number to be for passing. We're going to look at how many icons appear on the desktop. That's also going to be a multiple choice question. I'm going to allow scored, and I'm going to give this a value of 5. And I'm going to remove the on-demand evaluation, and I want the results to show in the report. I'm going to hit save, and then I'm just going to leave it at that, and I'm going to say if they get 10 out of 15, they have passed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and launch this environment, and I'm going to show you how that looks for a PBT. This environment is now cooked and ready to go. We've got it up and launched, and we can see that the first difference is on my first question, it's asking me how many icons. We had this before, and we could check it, and we could see if we clicked one, it would let us know to check and see if we got it right or wrong. For this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and create this and get this answer wrong just so we can highlight that. The next is asked me to create a file, so I'm going to go ahead and create that file, and I'm going to leave that on the desktop. We're then going to navigate across to populate files. It's going to then run that script as we talked about in the background. It's now finished populating those files, and I can see that there are 6 text files on here. I can check this answer to see if I got it correct. Remember that it's not going to give me a result. And then, as we talked about, when we hit submit, this time it's going to ask me, do I want to submit for grading? I'm going to say yes. Before, it asked me, do I want to end the lab environment? I hit yes, and now it's going to go through the grading process. Once the grading process has finished, it's going to render the results. It's told me I got 15 out of 20 and I passed. Again, this time it's going to show me which answers I got incorrect and which answers I got correct. And that is it. I appreciate you joining us. Thank you for watching this video with Skillable. We hope that you have found it engaging and helpful. We are looking forward to see what you can do with your ABAs and PBTs and how you can implement them for the learning of your students.